In this podcast, I'm going to share one of my secrets, one of the things that I do to keep my excitement and my energy high for the journey of fitness, not just the destination of looking better, feeling better, performing better, but how do you keep from week to week, month to month, year to year? How do you keep yourself excited and engaged and motivated and charging forward to continue with the fitness journey? That's the topic today. Dallas and I will talk about it. Learn more. Stick around.
Welcome to the CrossFit Edwardsville Community Podcast, where we hear and learn from our coaches, CrossFitters, and Glen Ed community leaders. Now, here are your hosts, Dallas and Greg.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the CrossFit Edwardsville Community Podcast.
Hey.
With you, as always, Dallas Amston here, and I am your Speak to Lead and Communicate to Succeed coach. And then also with me, my co-host,
GM at CrossFit Edwardsville. And also,
some kind of, what was that symbol you just threw at me?
I don't even know. I was just doing.
Is this like the official family G-scale crest?
I just improvise. I just do things sometimes.
We're going to find out from someone later that that's an awkward, white power symbol or something.
Probably, yeah.
Somebody be like, you shouldn't throw that symbol up. For those of you just listening on the audio version, you have no idea what we're talking about. He basically threw two sideways peace signs, which I'm sure is going to be something. So anyway.
Yeah.
How you doing, man?
We'll creatively edit that out. I'm good, man. I am proudly addicted to learning, and these conversations, I always find I learn a lot of neat stuff talking with you, and maybe learn a thing or two about presentation as we go along. Maybe I share some knowledge.
What you don't do is talk about symbols and hand signs 1 minute in. That's a rule.
I didn't even know what that was. I'm just making stuff up. I don't know. What about you, man? How are you doing?
Dude, I am vibrating at such a high frequency right now. I'm like on fire in my life, which feels great. I feel like things are falling into alignment in ways. In the last couple months, the acceleration that's taking place is just like, yeah, let's go. I feel good. I was talking with a fellow speaker and coach just earlier today. Actually, we check in with each other fairly frequently, and he was just going, man, the changes I've seen in you mentally and emotionally in the past 3-4 months. He's like, you're just a different person than you were. And so that's like you. I'm addicted to learning, though, and I'm addicted to expansion, and I'm finally embracing the discomfort of growth.
Well, as your friend, I raise my glass and say cheers, because it's been exciting seeing this positive growth, these positive changes in you these past couple of months, as you continue to operate on a higher frequency, as you continue to chase what is valuable for you and achieve what is valuable for you. I feel like that's a neat little segue into our conversation for today, talking about creating rewards systems, which is one of the things that I love to do to keep myself connected and engaged with my fitness journey.
I do want to ask you so much about this, because for those of you who don't know, he has talked about this in past episodes on how growing up, he did not have healthy eating habits.
Right.
Really, a lot of his health journey began when he first met his wife, Caroline, and thought, I'm not hot enough for her. So he realized he had to clean up a lot of his act.
Yes.
You were always strong, but you didn't have, when I see photos of you, dude, I'm like, all right, you always looked fit. You just look soft.
I was real small and really soft, no muscle. And when you talk about strong, definitely not physically strong.
Sure.
Maybe mentally strong. Maybe I've always been good at not quitting, but that's a whole different kind of strong.
Well, that's true. Well, when I've seen a couple older photos of you, you may have already been on the journey then, the fitness journey, of some of the photos I've seen. Because I've never looked at you and been like, oh, the dude was scrawny. Never felt that way. But you have maintained a sub what 7% body fat for a decade
Yep.
now.
Sub 8, sub 7. Yep.
Sub 8, sub 7% body fat for a decade.
Yep.
To put that into perspective, 10% to 12% is considered like a fit dad, right?
Oh yeah. Well, 10%, 12%, you have six-pack abs.
Okay, 10 to 12%, you've got six-pack abs. So fit dads are like living at that 12%. So to live sub 7, sub 8 for a decade now means you did something that dialed it in.
Right.
And
well,
I think
made it livable
sustainable.
and sustainable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sustainable.
But
right.
also, and I think that's what I mean by dialed in. It was like you honed and you tweaked and you added and you took away and you did the things until you were like, boom, this is I can live this. And I think so many of us struggle with the idea, oh, I will live this way the rest of my life. Like if you say that to me right now, Dallas, you won't whatever have this for the rest of your life. That actually becomes a little bit monolithic. That's not the right word, but it almost becomes a little like whoa, daunting. The thought of for the rest of my life. But now you've done it for a decade. And I'd like to know what you did to dial it in and tweak it and then make it sustainable, because we've all heard the idea takes, 21 to 28 days to break a habit. Well, some of the new research shows it actually takes another.
There we go. I was hoping you bring this up.
Oh, just so everybody knows, we don't have any notes on today, so we're going to find out where this goes. But 21 to 28 days to break a habit. That's where most people stop. But if you leave the room empty, it's going to get filled back up.
Right.
So you have to actually form the new habit. That can take, depending on the studies you read, but on average, like 66.
That's right. Yep.
So
exactly.
if you think 90 days here, 21 to 28, 66-ish to 70-ish, you're in the game for a quarter of a year before you actually establish a new habit. And through that establishment, you've got to do what we're going to talk about with G here. You're going to dial, you're going to tweak, you're going to hone in that habit formation. But most of us hit the eject cord on the 3-week mark or the 4-week mark.
Or the 2-week mark or the 1-week mark.
Right. Because we hit the first hiccup and we're not thinking 90 days because 90 days just became daunting. And instead we're like, oh, I feel bad now. Rip open the Oreo sleeve and shovel it in and be like, I'll start again Monday.
Right.
But somehow you dialed that in. So I'd love to hear about the habit decreation you went through to the new habit creation and how you tweaked that. I think it'd be very informative for us.
So this might be a little bit of a deviation from our original thought topic or process for this, but if there's one thing that I've done really well since the early days, it was that once I adopted a healthy habit, I was very good about keeping it.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important to establish, because I know some people do really well jumping in both feet, going all out on their fitness, or ripping the Band-Aid off, going all in on their healthy eating. My journey was not that. My journey was recognizing, okay, I need to exercise, and I would go and exercise a couple days a week. And it wasn't anything impressive either. I first started with the bodybuilding magazines before I recognized that it was a very slow and less fun process of fitnessing. Found a way to CrossFit, whatever, right? But I wasn't eating healthy at all. Like not at all. Not at all. In fact, you ask Caroline to tell you, she'll tell you stories like every single night after dinner, which was literally whatever, like I didn't know any better at the time. And we'd eat just complete crap. I have pizza multiple times a week. After that was done, my dessert, as if you need that after the pizza, was the Little Debbie brownie snack cakes with or without the sprinkles on the top.
Sure.
And I have a couple of them every single night. By the way, if you eat those, life hack, like microwave them for like 4 seconds.
You're not supposed to be telling us how to eat them.
Yeah. Like they come out amazing. They're
That's
just
hilarious.
warm and hot enough. They feel like they just came out of the pan in the oven. But anyway, she's the one that, for example, she got me to switch away from having just pure sugar processed crap
Yeah.
after dinner and start having a piece of fruit as my dessert.
Hmm.
What happened was that was like maybe you could say that was her planting the seed in my mind and awakening me to the possibility of healthy eating being a part of this journey, because I was literally just exercising at that time and I was seeing some positive results from
Yeah.
exercise, but I wasn't eating healthy at all. I didn't know how to. I wasn't raised to eat in a healthy way.
Right.
I made that one little shift and I just kept it. In my head, the new framework was, if I'm feeling like I want something sweet for dessert, fruit is an option. And so I started seeking that opportunity
Sure.
on a regular basis. There was the point at which the very first diet that I ever did was the Body for Life
Oh yeah.
diet
Oh, Bill
by
Phillips.
Bill Phillips. Bill Phillips, yeah. Coach
Absolutely.
Oprah, it looked
We've all
great.
done
I
the
was like,
12-week Bill Phillips. 6 meals
yeah,
a day, 6 workouts a week, rest on the 7th, eat whatever you want.
exactly. So that became the framework for my first ever diet, which was I'm going to eat in a healthy way
Yeah.
Monday through Friday, which, I mean, what counted as healthy in Bill Phillips' world, there was quite a bit of play, which for me gave a lot of opportunity where, a lot of stuff was on plan. But that
Right.
one day, you pick
If you
one
wanted
day,
chocolate pudding, just add whatever his protein powder was that he was
right?
with.
I'd put it right, exactly, yeah,
EAS protein powder, and you could still
yeah,
eat the pudding on Tuesday.
exactly. Now the thing with that diet, for the people who most don't know or who weren't around in that time window, the Body for Life diet was you eat super healthy 6 days of the week. You pick one day of the week and you can eat whatever you want all day. It's your cheat day. You can literally have anything you want. What happens is that it creates. I have this reward system.
Yeah.
My day was Saturday, so I knew, all right, I can have the off-plan foods on Saturday.
Yeah.
Therefore, in my head, it was easier to stomach the idea of not eating Little Debbie snack cakes and pizza and all the other things Monday through Friday,
Sure.
because there was this little reward at the end of the thing. So,
My wife and I did that too. We did the Body for Life, and we would talk about, like, on Monday or Tuesday, what are we going to make on Sunday? We're going to make
yeah,
a chocolate cake, or we're going to, like,
yeah,
we started dreaming about what the dopamine hit at the end of the week was going to be.
exactly. Now, we've talked at length on this podcast about how I now do not believe that food and drink should be rewards for anything. I will stand by
Yeah.
that statement. But in the early days, it was my framework.
Yeah.
That was how I thought. And there is something to say. There is something to the idea that it was easier to learn discipline Monday through Friday, having this little reward at the end of the rainbow.
Yeah.
What happens then is, as I believe that discipline, like any other skill, can be developed and grown, enhanced, made stronger. So I was learning discipline for the
Yeah.
first time in my life, Monday through Friday. Well, I guess you should say Sunday through
Yeah.
Friday.
Sunday through Friday.
And what happened was, more and more often on Saturdays, it wasn't a day long bender of Cinnamon Toast Crunch and Cap'n Crunch and Little Debbie snack cakes. It was, I'll have my same healthy breakfast because I learned I enjoyed it. I'd have my same
Right.
healthy lunch, and dinner would be off plan. So instead of being 3 meals off plan on Saturday, it was 1 meal off plan.
Yeah, sure.
And then I found that I just felt so good eating in a healthier way that I was like, you know what? Like Saturday would come along and maybe I wouldn't find myself at California Pizza Kitchen. I'd be at home. I still have my healthy dinners from the week that I prepared.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? I'll have that on Saturday night. I've already prepared the meal. I still enjoy it. It's delicious.
Yeah.
I'll have that. So then a week go past, I hadn't had a cheat meal at all. So then I thought to myself, what if I just did a cheat meal, or a cheat day every 2 weeks, or a cheat meal every 2 weeks? It went to like a cheat meal every 2 weeks
Yeah.
to a cheat meal once a month. And I was gradually building this discipline and phasing out the bad habits that I had had.
Yeah.
And this general theme of adding a small piece and letting it grow inside of me and let it flourish something valuable
Yeah.
is a persistent theme. I
Yeah.
started flossing 1 year. And what I did was I said, you know what? I'm just gonna floss. I gotta brush my teeth. I'm gonna floss. And if there's anything that I actually see stuck in my teeth, I'll get that out. I'll throw away the flossing stick and I'm done.
Yeah.
That grew over time from spending, 15 seconds flossing
Yeah.
to flossing every day
Yeah.
to actually doing a full scale job every day.
Yeah.
I adopted meditation
Mhm.
1 year. And my meditative practice when I started was literally, I'm just going to sit for 3 minutes and try and just be fully aware of everything that's going on out here as I sit on my balcony. I'm not going to try and process or analyze or interpret what I'm seeing. I'm going to try and hear everything. And I'm
Yeah.
going to try and see everything to train myself to be more present in this moment and not always be perseverating about something else. And literally, for months, probably the better part of a year, my meditative practice was I start a timer, 3 minutes, fully being present in this moment. Thoughts start coming, I let them pass, I reorient to hear everything, see everything. And from there, it became more and more. It became 5 minutes, became
Sure.
several minutes. Now it's a part of it's part of my morning routine that's 8 minutes long.
Yeah. There's an intriguing thing here just to insert this thought. I remember hearing Jerry Seinfeld talk about this. He and actually I've seen now that people have adopted or created apps around the concept he introduced. But you're telling us a concept I've heard from him as well. He was in his early days of stand-up comedy. He was just going up, trying stuff, hitting an open mic here, an open mic there, etc. And he said, I remember walking past a construction site in New York, and I'm watching these guys load in one day at 5 a.m. as he's headed home from the clubs. They're going in, and he's watching these guys, and he's just looking at them. And he goes, "Man, I would hate to do that. Like it wasn't his thing." And he said, "But if these guys can get up and go to work every day, then surely I can write comedy every day that I love." So he got a calendar and a red marker. And every day that he wrote comedy, he just put an X. And then he did day 3, day 4, day 5, until he started saying to himself every day, don't break the chain. Don't break the chain.
Right.
So where
Right.
30 days of all red, 31 days of all red, 30 days of all red, 28 days of all red, whatever it was. And he adopted this idea, I will write every day. And his career, obviously, started exponentially growing compared to his peers because they were just writing when they had an inspiration or felt like it. And he turned the inspiration into a discipline. The discipline became a lifestyle. The lifestyle led to success. And
Right.
and I think, so the idea of don't break a chain really resonates with me. And there are certain things in my life that I have not broken the chain for a while. Like there are certain things that are like, that's just ingrained now. I introduced it and then I kind of tweaked it and now it's ingrained in my patterns. I'm not like that in every area of my life, but something you said I think is so important, G, is you just started with one thing.
One little thing.
One micro commitment.
Yep.
Micro commitment to consistency.
Right.
And it was just don't break the chain. Just don't break the chain. Floss for 15 seconds. Then it became 30. Cheat meals, etc. Now I can tell everybody now you only have one cheat meal a year.
Well, actually, we can be as accurate. It's 24 to 48 hours
of just melee. It's
of
just
melee every year.
It is dietary Thunderdome once a year for For those of you who don't know, his favorite time of year is Halloween. And
absolutely.
But even that, you count your candy bars. You're like, this is number 22.
I do because I track what I eat in here on a food app. And like Dallas and I talked about this the other day, like how regularly do you track what you eat? Well, basically never on a regular basis because I did it once I identify what worked for me. I put it on repeat.
Right.
I already know what I'm going to have for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I get the variety that I need in my life in other areas. But anyway, the punchline to all of this was like I started by just not by trading little baby stack cakes for fruit.
Yeah.
And that was this one little change that I made, and I kept it.
Yeah.
And it grew something else. So I'm sure like a lot of our audience is aware of who Kobe Bryant is. May he rest in peace, the famous basketball player.
Yeah.
He had a similar philosophy that runs along the same lines here. And that was that he would get up, I think, at 4 o'clock in the morning.
4 in the morning, yep.
To go and train and get a couple hours of training in before the other guys showed up to put in training. And what happens is it's a pain in the butt, but what happens is maybe you get 1 hour more training than the other guys on Monday. And then on Tuesday, one more training hour than they got. And on Wednesday, one more training hour. And if you do that 5 times a week, then by the end of the month, you've got 20 hours of additional training that your competitors didn't have.
Yeah.
Now you multiply that over months and years, and the way he described it was, at some point, they have no chance of closing the gap.
Right.
They could train 18 hours a day, and they will never catch him because he's so far out ahead, right?
Yeah.
This is very much what I've done when it comes to healthy eating and fitness. Like I started doing very little when it came to fitness. I did very little when it came to nutrition. But I started small and kept it, and then grew it, and then grew it, and then grew it, and then grew it. And it's been that for in so many arenas of life. The cold shower that I did, it started with turn the cold water on, hop in, breathe 1, 2, 3, 4, shut it off. I'm done. I'm out. Now it's an 8-minute long. 8-minute long cold shower in the morning.
And that's just part of your. And we've talked about morning rituals, you and I, previously. I don't think we aired the one that we started recording though, because we realized
we'll come back to that sometime.
We're going to have to tackle that just online, but the morning rituals that you and I both have. But one of the things I'll say, everybody, to this point is the reason most New Year's resolutions fail is because you're like, I'm going to shift this, and I'm going to start reading this book. I'm going to cover a book a month, and I'm going to cover a workout 4 times a week, and I'm going to shift this and completely eliminate sugar. And then you hit keto flu because you've eliminated sugar. You're sore on day 3. You quit reading one book and you break the chain because you tried to do too many things at once.
Right.
So there are changes that you want to make in your life, and you look currently and you go, oh, if I were to say I'm not doing A, B, C, and D well, and I'd like to increase all of those, you need to prioritize. Which one will be the smallest change that you can make for the biggest impact?
Right.
Look at that metric. Like flossing his teeth was not the thing, but there was a daily discipline he did. Or switching out fruit actually made a big impact on his caloric intake throughout the week. So he realized, hey, I'm not going to eat a brownie. I'm going to eat a piece of fruit instead every night. That became a caloric switch. That was a small choice that he could commit to daily, but it had a big impact. The Kobe Bryant exponential impact thing. And then all of the other habits will follow, but prioritize the small shift you want to make now. And
especially in the nutrition category, the returns are disproportionate in that category. And I think that most people also are probably aware of one thing that they could do differently that would make a disproportionate impact. Like a great example is soda. Like if you were to trade soda for almost any other beverage, like water, cheers, that one change would have a dramatic impact. We once did a nutrition challenge, and the gentleman, Dan Price, the only change he made was he stopped drinking soda, and that dude lost 19 pounds his first 30 days.
It was
for some people.
Part of that, I was like, heck.
Right. Like for some people, there's just one little roadblock that stops all the progress. Now, it's not true for everybody, right? You may find that you need to have a couple pieces in place, but the idea, and hopefully this is empowering for the audience, is that it is okay to start small. It is okay to identify one thing that matters a lot.
Yeah.
And let that one thing be a catalyst for more.
Yeah. And I would encourage you to, everybody. There are the list of things that you don't want to do, or the list of things where you're like, oh, I need to change this, shift that, do this. But take a moment and actually go, oh, but wait, I've already made this little change, and you didn't
Yeah,
think like I used to hate Brussels sprouts. They are now my favorite vegetable.
that's awesome.
And when I when I smell them and they're roasted in the oven, I'm like, oh yeah,
Oh, they're
Brussels.
so good then.
I get
They're
so
so good like
excited about
that.
the scent. But it was just one of those things where my wife was like, hey, I'm going to start making these once a week. I'm like, all right, that's fine. I'll eat them. I'll
Sure.
stuff them down. But then when I was, oh, okay, now I'm game. Now it makes sense. And you mentioned the soda thing. I can't honestly tell you the last time I had a soda, G.
That's
Um,
awesome. That's makes me very happy to hear that.
I think it was when we were in. Oh, now I do remember. It was back in May. We were in California, and somebody gave me a Mexican Coke, which is real sugar and no flavor modification, and it was in one of the glass bottles. And I was like, I haven't had one of these and whatever. And I drank it. And I was like, oh, that was actually fun and satisfying until I felt like crap 25
Yeah,
minutes later.
yeah.
Like, never mind. I'm good. That was the last soda I had. Was back in May, but if you go back and you think, oh, I've made this change. Hey, I've started doing 10 minutes of mobility every morning.
Right, right.
Just a little game changer over time. So give yourself credit for the shifts you've made and then make a decision that's prioritized on the shift you want to make next. And then say, I'm only working on this next quarter. That's the only change
Right.
I'm making in my schedule or in my nutrition choices or in my exercise choices, whatever it is. Make one shift for one quarter, commit beyond the 21-day quote habit break, and do a
Right.
66-day habit formation, and
Yes.
just see what if you introduce 4 new lifestyle habits in 1 year, G, one a quarter, you're better than 70% of the people who failed in the first week of their New Year's resolutions.
Right, because so many people start and stop and start and stop.
Yep.
It's that the full commitment that once you start this little thing, you just keep this little thing and let it grow.
Okay.
Now, another thing that for me has helped in this journey, because I've been CrossFitting for 14 years, I've kept, very healthy self for many years now.
Yeah.
I feel like I was always training for something. Early on, it
Talk
was
about this. Yeah. I love
I wanted to win a girl's heart.
Yeah.
I did. Great. I started doing CrossFit, and CrossFit gave me the athlete mindset. Now I'm training for something.
Yeah.
I would compete in CrossFit competitions back in the day. I had something to train for. When I became a CrossFit coach, part of what I train for is I feel like I need to lead my people by example.
Yep.
I need to be towards the top of the pack in terms of my performance. And so it's something that I'm training for. Periodically, like every year, I run the Go St. Louis Halloween Half Marathon.
Oh, sure.
My CrossFit training prepares me for that. Now, 14 years in, and in the early days, especially, like everything is a PR. Like back squatting more, front squatting more, faster Fran time, faster Diane time. And being the athlete in CrossFit gives you a whole new set of ways to track your progress and a whole new set of things to be excited about in your fitness journey.
Yeah.
The one thing I really wanted to share on this podcast was that, 14 years in, I'm a little older than I was, quite a bit older than I was.
14 years older.
Yeah, 14. Exactly.
That math was
14.
simple.
And it's like for me to beat the 28, 29-year-old me it would require a disproportionate amount of time spent in the gym.
Sure.
I'm balancing being a dad, a spouse, my own work, my own family, my own hobbies, my own responsibilities. And so I know that for me, the work-life balance is not for me to be fitnessing for 2.5 hours a day to be who I was when I was a CrossFit competitor, right?
Right.
So the metric that I'm using, or like the thing that I'm training for now, isn't that. Now, to a large extent, it's I train because I know emotionally I am so much healthier and happier when I do rigorous workouts.
When
I deal with stress better.
Shut up.
I'm more patient. I'm more optimistic. I feel better in my body, and I feel better about me also. There's like the emotional health, the between the ears changes, just feeling good. addressing anxiety, keeping it at bay. There are those intrinsic rewards. I do a workout, I feel better.
Yeah.
I do a workout, my energy is better. I do a workout, my relationship with myself is better. All those things are still true.
Yeah.
But what I find is that it's very helpful for me now that I'm not training for a CrossFit competition, not training to win a girl's heart, not in the same way anymore. I still try and win her heart every day.
Sure.
But for me, it really helps to have a monthly target, a monthly reward for just continuing in the journey.
Sure.
Which, for example, in the month of July, I'm addicted to learning. Talked about that earlier in the podcast.
Yeah.
And something that Dallas and I have discussed. My financial coach is Ramit Sethi of I Will Teach You to Be Rich, Ramit Sethi fame. I love that guy. Listening to him speak is a great joy for me. I love learning from him. One of the things that he teaches is that everybody has money dials, which the principle of this is there are things that Dallas Amsden disproportionately loves spending money on, and there are things that you hate spending money on. Just put this in context, Dallas. What are some things that you love spending money on? Like you spend money on and it just brings you joy to do it.
Oh, I wasn't ready for this. I do love like doing day events with my wife or kids. Like if we can go do an event and I don't have to think about, oh, that's a few $100s. I do love traveling. I do enjoy a really good steak. Like that's
yes.
I know food shouldn't be the reward, but if my wife and I can go hit like a really great steakhouse, that's always a fun time. And then I like seeing movies. I know that's a weird small one, but then I have a few hobbies that I'm looking to pick up here. Well, not so much hobbies as disciplines, and I'm looking forward to spending money on those things because some of them cost more money than I want to spend right now.
So travel is a very common one.
Concerts. I love going to concerts. Like
experiences, like live experiences is another big one for a lot of people. For many people, food is something they love to go out and experience. And to some extent, you're relatively price insensitive on these things. You're like, I know it costs more. I'm going to spend it anyway because that is what I truly value, right?
Yep.
What I've found is, for me, anything like there are certain skills that I want to develop.
Yeah.
And I'm so addicted to learning. I so love developing these new skills. Snowboarding, being a capable marksman with a handgun, self-defense, jiu-jitsu, like some examples. It's very helpful for me to recognize, okay, that is my money dial. And with the money dial, the idea is to turn up the spending, spend way more on those things that are disproportionately rewarding for you, and mercilessly cut costs in the other categories. My wife and I are committed minimalists. We live a very inexpensive lifestyle, but my learning habits, you could argue, are quite pricey. What I do is I say every month I create a target for myself. This past month, it happened to be a course that would help me become more skilled as a marksman with a handgun, as well as self-defense, jiu-jitsu, help me become a stronger, more useful human, harder to kill, and train with great people. So this is not a cheap thing. It's not a cheap event or excursion, put it that way. But what I find is if I put that thing that is for me extremely rewarding at the end of the month to say, all right, if I put in the time, put in the work, do the workouts, eat the healthy things, then at the end of the month, I would reward myself with this. I have found myself coaching our CrossFitters on this concept more and more. Because I think we've all heard this before, and it's true, and it bears repeating. Whatever gets rewarded gets repeated. Whatever gets rewarded gets repeated. I think that especially if you tend to be relatively type A, it's very, very easy to do a thing that you said you were going to do and immediately move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
And not have any like recognition that you did that thing.
Yep. Totally.
What I find myself coaching more and more often to others and myself is that the act of recognizing yourself for what you have done. Like, you started a new fitness journey, you made it 30 days. Most people don't make it 15.
Yeah.
You should recognize yourself for that. Not
Right.
just like, yes, you look better, you feel better, you perform better, but you actively have a ritual of acknowledging yourself,
Right.
recognizing, respecting yourself for having done this.
Yeah.
This
And it's not
ritual,
Little Debbie's brownies.
not Little Debbie's brownies, exactly. But what it literally, it teaches you to recognize yourself, and you start to see you in a different light, which
Yeah.
has a lot of value to it. A lot
Totally.
of people, a lot of people have a very negative internal dialogue going on a lot of the time.
Yeah.
I'm so fat. God, I always do this terrible thing. I'm so stupid. Why do I keep doing this over and over and over again? And that's the conversation they have with themselves internally.
Yeah.
What if every single month of the year, or even twice a month, if that's what works for you, every 2 weeks, every 2 weeks, every month, the conversation you have with yourself is, you're a badass. Like, you said you were going to eat healthy this last 2 weeks and you did it. You're awesome. You
Yeah.
deserve to feel good about that. You should feel good about that. You deserve to feel good about that.
Right.
And now
Right.
I am going to reward me because I did that. Asterisk, the reward should not be unhealthy food, unhealthy drink.
Right.
Whatever your reward be, whatever it is, Dallas and I have discussed this,
Yeah.
you shouldn't feel guilty. You should, yeah, it should not be the sort of thing that compromises your value system after the fact, right?
Right.
But maybe the thing that you love having a new shirt, new jacket, new jeans. Reward yourself with that jacket or that shirt or those jeans at the end of the month. For a lot of people, it's travel. Maybe at the end of the month, your significant other, you rent an Airbnb, you do a little road trip to get there. Maybe you go off and you camp for the weekend. My reward for myself is I'm going to camp for this weekend and be away
Yeah.
from people, away from screens, get my time to myself. If
Yep.
you're a mother, you're a woman, maybe your reward is, you know what? I'm going to send my husband and my kids, like, you guys go over to
Way.
Edison's. You guys go over to Edison's. You stay there for a few hours. I'm going to take a hot bath here by myself, uninterrupted for a few hours,
Yep.
and get some time to me. Maybe that's what it is for you.
It's
I've
funny
heard,
you say that one. I just need to insert real fast here. So Meg will regularly, when she's like, "Hey, I need a break," I'm like, "Great, get out of here. Go do something that you need to do something that's rewarding."
yeah,
And she'll look at me and go, "You don't get it yet. I
yeah,
need a break here without you and them. Take the
yes,
boys somewhere else." And so then I'm like, "Oh, Daddy's got to come up with an activity because Mommy just wants to be around the house alone
yep.
with nobody around." Without someone calling Mommy. So that one, it's funny that you use that one because for
I
me, I
hear that a
I
lot
go get a
from
massage
women,
in the
especially
basement.
mothers,
Yeah,
that one is huge
yeah,
for them. Maybe it's a manicure, maybe it's a pedicure,
right,
maybe it's, I want to get this new power tool so I can augment my garage collection. Whatever it is for you,
yeah,
like, there is a lot of power in short time frames,
yep,
regular rewards. Because if the reward is, I'm going to eat healthy, I'm going to exercise, and 7 months from now, I'll
that's
be down X pounds,
it's too far.
that gets to feel very far away.
It's daunting.
And it can become daunting or unmotivating in the here and now, right? So many people, psychologically, we can wrap our brain around doing something for 15, 30 days much more easily than we can 90, 120,
Yep,
10 years,
yep,
right? Like, if you were to tell me, hey, you're going to start doing a morning cold shower and you're going to do it every single day for the next several years, I probably wouldn't have started in the first place. It would
right,
seem like a terribly overwhelming commitment, right?
yeah,
But I just say, you know what? 4 breaths, cold shower, starting there. But it was keeping it into manageable, psychologically manageable time frames.
Yeah.
And for me, given that I want to reward not just a destination. Hey,
Right.
I'm going to be the fittest 75-year-old that you're ever going to meet. I'm going to
Right.
be the guy that can go out on the trampoline or the basketball court and play with my kids, or
Right.
whatever, right? My grandkids. I'm going to be fit enough to do that. Yeah, that's a long time away. But I will say that a month from today, I'm going to be attending the sheepdog response course, and I am super stoked about that. But I only get to go if I actually do the things that I said I was going to do
Yeah.
this month.
I
So
love
I'm
it.
excited about that. And now I'm super motivated to do the shit that I got to do today. You know what I mean?
So the idea here is, everybody, you may think about like your life in terms of life's a marathon, not a sprint. But the truth
Yeah.
is, you got to get rewards along the miles to
Yeah.
keep yourself motivated. And as G was saying there, to really make sure that you're doing some sort of extrinsic reward that is not going to make
Yep.
you feel guilty, not going to get you off plan, etc. Some sort of extrinsic reward that you feel great about.
Yep.
When you save a certain amount, you're going to let yourself go out to that nice dinner. When you lose a certain amount, you're going to buy yourself those new jeans that you've been thinking about, or go do that event, go to that concert, go to whatever it might be, sheepdog training,
Right.
because you're finding the things that fill you and reward you in a way that you go, oh, that's a carrot I can chase for just long enough to hit the next milestone. And it all starts though with a micro commitment to daily action, daily consistency. Don't break the chain. Over time, that will build into a habit, but reward yourself along the path so that it doesn't seem like, well, now I'm going to do this for the resolution for the whole year. Bad idea.
Right.
Small
Right.
commitments, small shifts, small change makes big transformation over time.
Because it snowballs. It
It is.
snowballs over time.
It's we talk even, yeah, we don't need to go into more examples. It's fine. We're good on this. I think we've nailed the point here, everybody.
Sure.
The snowball effect, exponential transformation over small daily commitments, micro commitments.
Yep.
You will feel that over time. So, G, I love this. We are going to have to talk about our morning rituals a little bit and let people behind the curtain a little bit on that.
Sure.
And not necessarily the cold shower curtain, but we're definitely going to talk through your morning rituals, some of my morning rituals, and how we really attack the first half or the first hour or two of our days. I love this, man. Thank you for sharing your insights and your wisdom with us, brother.
Hopefully it was valuable for you guys. I hope that something that I've shared here has resonated with you and it gives you something actionable that you can take into your everyday life. And I do hope you take action on this, because knowledge by itself isn't necessarily power, but knowledge acted upon, now that is powerful. So
knowledge applied, baby.
Take at least one thing. If there's anything here that you're like, okay, I can see that working for me, please take that one thing and start it today while you're most motivated, when you're most top of mind for you. Put that first X on the calendar today, and then just don't break the chain.
Don't break the chain. Love it. Everybody, if you are interested in learning more about CrossFit Edwardsville, if this is your first time listening to this podcast, get your popcorn ready, because I'm going to tell you how to be a part of the show. You can don't get your actual popcorn ready. So you can check us out on all the social medias: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, at CrossFit Edwardsville. You can also put that into your Google and find us and read hundreds of 5-star reviews, stories of transformation and impact. But when you're ready to have the conversation, whether the first step or the next step in your journey in fitness, to look better, feel better, perform better in your life as well as in your health, check us out at CrossFitEdwardsville.com. There is a big button on the homepage that says book a no sweat conversation. We would love to talk to you about what your goals are, what your targets are, and what micro commitments you want to make. And that, again, is at CrossFit Edwardsville. G-Scale, always appreciate the time, my man. Thanks so much for spending it with me today. Thank you to those of you who've spent your time with us today. We honor you for sharing that space with us. G, I'll have you sing us out, brother.
Guys, have yourselves an amazing rest of your day, and we'll see you in the next episode.